Item of business we have tonight is a public hearing that we've had scheduled. The governing authority of Walker County, Georgia proceeds to amend Chapter 6 of the County Code of Ordinance regarding possession, sale, and distribution of alcohol beverages. Ordinance number 0418 amends language to affect the sales of alcohol on Sunday, adjusts the licensing process, and revises the Alcohol Beverage Commission. There was packets out front. This is our second public hearing on this. We have got a copy that's available in the packet that shows in section 6-51 where you'll be able to start selling alcohol at 11 a.m. through 12 midnight on Sundays on premises, and then license for package sales of malt beverages and or wine may be engaged in sales Monday through Saturday, 24 hours a day, and Sunday from 12:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. We've also have taken the fee structure out of this. Ordinances really should probably not have the fee structure in the ordinances because you have to have more of a process proceeding for your ordinances. We're going to change that and just start adopting the fee structure by resolution. And then also this updates this to have this as the board from 3 people to 5 people. We felt like it was a good time to change that, was to raise that from 3 to 5 people. So is there any public comment or discussion from the floor at this time about this ordinance? Anybody have anything at all concerning this ordinance? Okay, hearing none, we'll adjourn this portion of our meeting. Okay, we now will enter back into our regular scheduled meeting at 6:03 p.m. on December the 27th. You do have in your packet a copy of the minutes from the prior public hearing that we had on this same ordinance dealing with alcohol sales. There were no public comments at that meeting either, and that meeting was also adjourned at 6:04 p.m., so very quickly as well. Is there any changes or modifications or anything that needs to be brought to our attention before we sign these minutes into the record? Hearing none, we'll sign these into the record. Okay, the next item that we have is our regular scheduled minutes from the December 13th meeting. Have those minutes, as well as there any questions or concerns about those minutes from the regular scheduled meeting on the 13th of December. Hearing none, we'll sign these into the record. Okay, item number 1, we have a resolution, R-49-18, a resolution to reappoint Farrell Brown as Walker County Tax Assessor Board Member, whereas the sole Commissioner of Walker County is the County Governing Authority of Walker County, Georgia, and whereas OCGA 48-5-295 provides the members of the County Board of Tax Assessors shall be appointed by the County Governing Authority, and whereas a vacancy exists or shall exist on the Walker County Board of Tax Assessors following the expiration of the term formerly held by Farrell Brown, which has or will expire on December 31st, 2018, and whereas it is the duty of the County Governing Authority to appoint members for vacancies on the Walker County Board of Tax Assessors, whereas pursuant to OCGA 48-5-291, Farrell Brown is duly qualified to serve as a member of the Walker County Board of Tax Assessor and is agreeable to serve the people of Walker County in such capacity. Now therefore be it resolved by the sole Commissioner of Walker County, Georgia, that the following named individual is hereby approved and appointed to the Walker County Board of Tax Assessors under such conditions as set forth by law and for the terms set forth below. Name Farrell Brown, term 6 years, begins on January 1, 2019, expires December 31st, 2024. So it be resolved and adopted the 27th day of December 2018. Be signed by the Commissioner and attested by the Clerk. Very honored to have Mr. Brown continue to serve in this capacity. There's an awful lot of training and certification that goes into that position. It's a very productive board. It's a board that meets also twice a month and is a great responsibility for our county. And we appreciate his continued willingness to serve in this capacity. We also have a letter for him. Dear Mr. Brown, it's with great pleasure that I reappoint you to the Walker County Board of Tax Assessors. Your term begins January 1, 2019, expires December 31st, 2024. Thank you for your willingness to serve the citizens of Walker County and look forward to working with you in the future. So we'll sign this and the clerk will mail this to him tomorrow. The next item on our agenda is a resolution R-50-18, a resolution amending the fiscal year 2019 budget to appropriate funds for capital equipment for the sheriff. Whereas OCGA 3681.3 provides for the county to adopt a summary line item legal level of budgetary control whereby the governing authority controls county spending. And whereas Resolution R-1917 established the legal level of budgetary control Walker County at the summarized objective classification levels, personnel expense, operating expense, capital outlay. Whereas the sheriff of Walker County has requested $34,516 to be allocated into an account 542200.00 for capital equipment vehicles under Law Enforcement Administration and 3310. And whereas, as a result of vehicle collision settlement funds are available in the amount of $10,000 for capital equipment vehicle for repair vehicle 522220-60, and whereas, as a result of allowing employees to buy back their service firearms fund in the amount of $9,816 are available for capital equipment vehicles for the sale of the assets 392100.00, and whereas the funds in the amount of $14,700 are available for capital equipment vehicles for the Sheriff's Office Drug Forfeiture Account 212.3392. Therefore, it hereby be resolved that the governing authority of Walker County reallocates funding for line items of repair vehicles 522220.60 from asset sale line item 392100.00 and from the Sheriff's Office Drug Forfeiture Account 212.3392 and appropriate $34,516 to line item 542200.00 capital equipment vehicles under Law Enforcement Administration's 3310. So hereby resolved and adopted the 27th day of December 2018. So I know that sounds very confusing, makes it look like we're creating a whole new environment here. So we've asked the sheriff to come tonight, and he's going to put all this for you in layman's terms so it's easy to understand, because it's really quite simple what we're doing, but in our quest to be transparent and to make sure we have the proper accounting and meeting all of the guidelines for our auditing purposes, this process needed to be done in a form of a resolution held in public. And so, Sheriff, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Thank you. We are currently in FY19 budget. Currently, we're about to finish the first quarter of it, I guess. However, during FY18, we had 2 patrol cars that were totaled at the expense of other persons at fault. And we have reached settlements in both of those collisions where other parties were deemed to be at fault. And either the other parties or their insurance companies have made a settlement with the county, and we have received what we feel like was the fair market value of the patrol cars at the time they were totaled. And we've taken that money, a portion of that has already been allocated to FY19's budget. $10,737 was already put into this year's budget, but we needed to move some other monies around that because it had, I guess, been moved over earlier. And so we're moving it over into FY19 so we can account for it better. And so we're taking different funds. In one settlement, it was $10,000 for the automobile. The other settlement was $10,737. As many of you may remember, we were able to purchase new firearms for the deputies back in July. And as the commissioner declared those surplus, the old firearms, we allowed the deputies, certified deputies, to buy those weapons back at the price that we would have got for them if we'd have traded them in at another wholesaler. So that amount came to $9,816, and so we're moving that $9,816 along with the 10,737, and then I'm moving $14,700 out of my drug account, and we're hoping that that'll come close to buying 2 cars. They're about 22.5, somewhere in that neighborhood, so it's going to be close. But if not, we'll probably pull it out of the current amount that we were allocated at the beginning of the year. So that's where we are. We're just trying to put some more vehicles back on the road from these that were totaled earlier in the year.
Okay. Thank you. Very good summary. And also, what this is allowing us to do is to be able to buy a couple of additional patrol cars to replace 2 patrol cars, as he indicated, but also to keep us from creating any debt on these vehicles. He'll have the cash funds to be able to pay for these patrol cars instead of doing a lease purchase. So is there any other question or comments on this? Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and sign this resolution so we can have our accounting department move forward with these entries. This will be attested by the clerk. Okay, next item is ordinance number 04-18. This is what we talked about earlier. This is on the alcohol ordinance that we're updating to allow for the Sunday sales. I know this has probably been quite confusing to some that's not used to the normal course of business for county government, but the citizens of Walker County did vote to do this, to pass Sunday sales, and what we're doing is the behind-the-scenes paperwork, for lack of terms, to allow us to be able to document this properly. So if someone ever had a desire to look back in our records, they could find this in the minutes, find this in the ordinance where this was adopted and these changes were made. So this is more of a formality and documentation to honor the wishes of our voting citizens that voted to adopt this change into our county. So we'll go ahead and sign this into the record, and this will allow businesses to start doing Sunday sales starting December the 30th of this year. So just a couple, 3 days away. We have heard that some of our restaurants are going to start opening on Sunday due to this, and so I think you're going to see some positive things come of this. Okay, item number 4, we have a resolution of the Sole Commission of Walker County to establish a schedule of fees for the alcohol beverage license, whereas Walker County, Georgia desires to establish a single document schedule of fees for alcohol beverage license, and whereas the ordinance O-4-18 amends Chapter 6 of the County Code of Ordinance, regulating the possession, sales, and distribution of alcohol beverage to replace various fees for alcohol beverage licenses with a schedule of fees. Whereas Walker County uses a resolution to establish fees for county permits, programs, and services. Therefore, be it resolved, the sole Commissioner of Walker County, Georgia, a schedule of fees be established by alcohol beverage license as contained in Exhibit A. This schedule will take effect January 1, 2019 for all new license applications upon renewal of existing license holder. So there are some changes and modifications to this exhibit, but it will not affect anyone until they actually have their renewal. But if someone initially was to apply for a new license, one thing that has been changed is there is an initial application fee of $150. That was not in there before. And also we've broken out the malt beverage from the wine license on the on-premises and off-premises. I think those were the two changes that we made primarily. But we did look at other municipal and county governments of what their fee structures were. And this puts us pretty much right in the middle of the pack of what other counties and cities are doing in our area. Is there any questions or comments on this? Okay, hearing none, we'll adopt this fee schedule. Okay, that ends our regular scheduled meeting. At this time, we always like to open up the floor for anyone that has any public comment. We do ask that you come to the podium and state your name, if you would, and anybody that has anything that they'd like to address the county government about tonight, we'd be more than happy to hear from you. But we ask that you do keep your comments related to county government. We can't solve all the national problems or the state problems. So we work hard every day to work on our county issues. So just keep your comments limited, if you would, to county issues. So anyone like to speak tonight at this time, please come forward. Anybody at all? Okay, well, hearing none, we appreciate y'all coming. We will be back to our normal schedule back on January the 10th. As our next meeting. We have these meetings on the second and fourth Thursday of every month. So appreciate you coming out and weathering the rain and the cold tonight, and look forward to seeing you back on January the 10th. Have a good evening.
Happy New Year, friends.
Thank you.